Hello and welcome to another Out of Spec Reviews video. You join me in my driveway. We're not going anywhere today. We're not driving anything today. Tesla has actually, over the last couple months, released a new service mode. Now, I believe they've had this service mode. The new part is that the general user has access to it. I have it on both my Model S and my Model 3. And, well, part of this service mode includes a battery degradation test. Now on this Model 3 at 100,000 miles or so, we did our own degradation test. It came in somewhere between 10 and 11%. It's now 20,000 miles later, and I want to see what Tesla thinks the degradation is on this car. So we have 119,000 something miles on this car, just about to tick out of battery warranty. It's a good time to check to see if anything major has happened right before it ticks over the 120,000 mark. So what do you say I show you Tesla service mode on this car, some of the cool stuff you can see, and then we're going to run through the entire battery degradation testing procedure. The thing that I like about this is it's not just relying on BMS data. You know, when you go to 100% charge and look at that full charge number, that is dumb. That means nothing, and don't ever use that as a basis for degradation. This actually drains the car completely to full, charges it up to 100%, and then takes a look at the capacity at that point. So very much looking forward to this. Be interesting to see how long it takes. I think it takes something like 10-20 hours. I don't know. And yeah, I'll walk you through the testing procedures and we'll compare it to our results that we did just a few months ago. So here it is, my 2019 Tesla Model 3 Performance. I have the fender liners out right now because we have some juicy Mountain Pass performance, full coilovers on the car now with a lift kit block. It's set pretty low. We're actually going to raise it up. I've just been doing some testing, making sure everything's bolted together. I'll actually have a review of this whole setup. We have the sway bars disconnected right now. It goes full rally mode. It's awesome. Of course, on Nokian Hakkapeliitta 10 EV studded tires. Right now there's no snow, but we actually just got hammered with snow and it left a bunch of ice around, and it was really nice to have the studs not only on the Rivian but on the Model 3. Maybe a bit overkill for our area. I just love having them, although they are of course noisier than non-studded tires, but still not too bad. Pretty good efficiency. Let's jump in here to the car. What I've done is I've actually driven the car and preconditioned it to a supercharger for the last 2 hours or so. So I really drove it hard, warmed up the battery. I don't know if it makes too much of a difference, but I figured, hey, let's get some heat in this thing. I also know it tries to drain the battery from full down to dead. And well, I was above 50% state of charge, and I wanted to basically drain some of the excess out. So if I go here to the car and go to software, I can push and hold on the Model 3 dual motor right there. And now it says enter an access code. I'm going to put in service. Very cool. And it says service mode should only be enabled by service personnel. That's me. To service or repair a stationary vehicle. We are stationary. Are you sure you want to enable service mode? Do not do it on public roads unless there's a maintenance requirement to do it. Yes, go for it. Okay, so now we get the full service mode. We get speed limited. Alerts to check 1. Okay, we need to see what that's all about. The Model S had no alerts to check. So interesting. How do we see alerts? Service alerts right here. What is it saying? So it says, okay, here's all this stuff. Issue escalated. Take control immediately. Lane departure event. Okay, this is all previous saved stuff. But what's this? Coolant valve calibration. The coolant valve has a calibration fault. Check coolant valve harness and or replace the actuator. Interesting. Powertrain performance may be limited. Now that is an interesting thing because the car doesn't actually show up with a warning with this. This is an internal fault. So perhaps I need to bring it over to Tesla and ask them what the heck's going on here. Could just be a software thing, could require a reset. Maybe it needs actual service. So that's definitely something I'm going to take a look at. But let's go back to the main service menu. And you can see we're at, oh, I thought we had a little bit more than that. 118,000 miles. Sorry, not 120, but we're at 118. Okay, you can see some driver assistance stuff. You can see your cameras. You can see your sensors over here. Everything's good. It's happy. Radar is on. Interesting. We can come over here to infotainment. You can see your cell connectivity. You can see we're hooked up on Wi-Fi. primary antenna, secondary antenna. Yes, the Wi-Fi antennas are on the mirrors in this car. You can see your internal modem stuff. Don't hack my car. You can see your high voltage situation. It says we're in the support state. You can see our isolation resistance. Contactors are closed. Everything's online. We have a PTC heater. This one does not have a heat pump. This is too old for it. And you can see we're at 27.1%, 27% right here, predicting 75 miles of rated range. Pyrofuse is good. High voltage interlock loop or high voltage loop is good. All good here. This is our 12 volt system. So if I come down, I haven't played around enough with this, but you can see what's pulling where, and just really cool to see all of this stuff. This is all thermal stuff. So if you need to drain coolant, you can just do this all right from here. Really good stuff for right to repair, having access to more of the car's data. Really like it. You can see the alignment. Let's see, we have pressure. It's not at 174 PSI, I'll tell you that much. The tires would have exploded, but applied offset looks pretty good. And then, of course, you have your window calibrations. If you need to do anything, see this, I'll lower the window. You'll see it says press state, moving down, moving up, auto up. I clicked it all the way. And so just cool stuff all around. But what I'm really curious about is what the heck happens when we go to high voltage system and we do this battery health test. This is going to be the big question. Now, typically when we do degradation testing, the only way a user can do this properly is technically not by charging the car, because usually the only data we really get is from the wall. And of course, there's a lot of losses going into the car. The best way is to charge it to full and then drive the car pretty slowly to avoid heat loss until it doesn't move anymore, and then see how many kilowatt hours you're able to pull out of it. Of course, this is not a perfect science because we're relying on the in-car sensors. The best way to do it is put current clamps on the end of the battery and see how much flies out, but that requires pulling panels and having external equipment like NI software and things like this, stuff we're going to be getting into. However, I'm really curious to see how this works. Now, I haven't done it to the Model S yet. If you guys want me to try that in another video, I can try the Model S Plaid. That has only 5,000 miles on it. I don't drive it too much. Did take it on one big road trip. And, you know, just as a, I guess, reminder as to how I take care of my cars, right? We use them hard, but this car sits pretty much charged to 50% all the time. Very rarely is it above 50%. I only technically or typically have it above 50% for road trips. I'll charge it up to 90, 95. Very rarely do I full charge this car. It's happened maybe 10 or 15 times throughout its whole life. Oh, my watch has been listening to me and it has no idea what I'm saying. Very rarely has this car ever been full charged. So we've done our best to take care of the battery, but it's had a million supercharging sessions. Again, we'll pull the Teslafy data at the end of this, and I'll show you how much DC energy has gone into this car, more than AC charging. But again, a lot of that's from 0 to 5% up to 50%. Then we unplug and go. So working down low. But then this car's also had a lot of track use, right? This has been on the track for track days, for hot laps, and we've gotten things hot. So I do my best to take care of it. Has 120,000 miles, but I never stop myself from using the car as I want to. So just take that all into consideration as we start this test. This is probably a hard use case battery. I bet most people, especially if you don't charge it to 90 or 100% every day, will actually have a little bit less degradation than I would. Curious to see if you guys try this, what you come up with. Leave it down in the comments below. Let's see if this test even works. So coming on over here to the health test. Again, the battery is warm. We're at 27%. Everything is nice and toasty. So it says, interesting, gateway state locked. To authorize, hold fully up on the turn stock plus brake plus key for 10 seconds. I imagine the key has to go here. If following a component replacement, one of the unlock conditions is not met. Okay, so we're not replacing anything. We're just checking the state of our current battery pack. So what I'm going to do is grab my Tesla key out of my wallet, and I'm going to put it right there where the key card needs to go. And then it says brake plus hold firmly up on the turn stock. It says unlocking. I'm holding up all the way. Procedure in progress. Whoa, this feels cool. Is it going to explode? Okay. I'm going to let go of everything because it says it's unlocked. Cancel the turn signal. Interesting that service mode puts the car in chill. Okay, now we're going to hit health test. It says before running this routine, state of charge must be below 50%. We are there. Vehicle must be plugged into an AC charging station capable of supplying at least 6 kilowatts. Mine can do 11, so we're good. Test may take up to 24 hours. High voltage battery will be discharged and then charged to full. Heat will be generated outside the vehicle during discharge. Ah, interesting. So it's going to do basically a full, what am I trying to say? Full drain of the battery pack by burning everything off as heat. So let's plug it in to my wall connector. Again, I have it set up to 48 amps, maxing out the onboard charger. We have, again, pretty high line voltage here, about 242, 243 volts. So we're plugged in here, and this could take a long time. So what just happened here? Uh-oh, do we need to go through the whole thing? I think so. Yes, okay. Oh, we're good. Test requirements met, and we're going. No way. Test in progress. Well, I guess I'll let it do its thing, and then I'll come back to it when it's done, but it just says it's plugged in, charging stopped. I imagine we're going to hear the motors creating waste heat, things are going to get hot, it's going to drain everything. Interesting that charge limit is set to 50%. That's where I've had it. Just in case it gets in the way, let's just set it to full. That way it doesn't get in the way of the test. I don't know. Don't think it's probably good for the car to burn everything off as heat too much, so we'll just make sure that's not a barrier. Test in progress. Well, what time is it? 4:21 p.m. No, Apple Watch, you got to stop interrupting me. Let's let this thing sit for however long it takes. Test in progress. And we'll let it do its thing. What's it sound like out here? Nothing. No indication. No indication that anything's going on. But we'll give it a full day. This could be really interesting. Looking forward to sharing the results with you guys. When I come back, you can actually see the service mode here on the screen. Very interesting. Not pulling anything from the charger. Let it do its thing. It is now getting darker outside. Just a couple hours later, it's 5:30 p.m. right now. And we're down a few percent. We're down to 25%. But I actually heard on Twitter another car doing this exact process. And it made a bunch of noise and fans were going. And I just am not hearing anything. The car's been dead silent. It's definitely draining something. It's possible that it's just running the motors to heat up the battery pack, but you normally hear pumps running. I'm not hearing even coolant pumps going. So not sure how it's burning off the energy, to be honest, but I'm just letting it do its thing. And my guess is it's going to take all night to drain. It's going to get cold tonight. So hopefully it factors that in and keeps the battery warm throughout this test. That way it's totally accurate. I'm sure it is fine, and it's not going to be like freezing cold tonight. It'll just be in the 30s, which isn't the end of the world. And actually, fast forwarding a couple days, that test failed. I think I started with too high state of charge. It's possible it got too cold. Oh, check it out, Quadra-Steer Suburban. So cool, that's awesome. I have one of those, although it was stolen and then returned because it was so bad. Yeah, pretty rough. So now I've actually got the battery warmed up. We preconditioned it to a supercharger. Timon drove it up from Denver. It's nice and toasty. He actually was supercharged today. I'm running the heat on full blast just to drain it down a little bit more. But essentially we're gonna do the same testing procedures, but I think it got a little bit too cold. The battery got the blue snowflake. So now it'll be in our heated garage. We'll close this up, plug it in, and it'll do a little drain, a few percent, and then go right up to 100 to test out the capacity. So here we go. We'll set it back to 100% just in case it'll die again. We'll turn off climate. Let's set it to like 72 on auto. So we'll go here, boom. We'll go heated seats off all around. I hate that you have to turn on climate to do rear seats. Okay, done. Then we'll go back here to this, boom, service. Okay, we already learned all this. Timon, would you mind plugging in the wall connector to us in just a moment? Not quite yet. We'll go here to high voltage system, 3.6% state of charge. All is good. Everything's green. Health test. Okay, so I need to do this. We need to hold fully up on turn stock, brake, and the key card needs to go here. we'll do that. We'll initiate the test just like we did before, and we'll let it run now. And we're all good. Test in progress. We're at 4%, or I should say 3.6% state of charge. Should start draining everything, and maybe by, I don't know, end of this evening, this thing will be done. It is now the next morning. The car completed at some point in the middle of the night last night. So let's open it up and see what it says. Really curious. Battery health, 8%. What? The only thing I can think is that means 8% degradation. There's no way that the battery has 8% health, because we just put 64 kilowatt hours into this thing, according to Teslafy. So, okay, battery health 8%. What the heck? Anyway, we're sitting pretty much charging full. I don't want to leave it here for the battery health, but if it's at 8%, that is a lost cause. I can only think that that means 8% degradation, but I don't know, because my Model S says 100%. What a weird result. Really curious to see what you guys think about this. Also, if we go over here to alerts to check, I think I already showed you that. Yeah. Anyway, not sure what's going on. I'm going to kick on the climate control, unplug the car here, and this way we can, just drain the battery a bit, take it for a drive here in a second. But dang, that is a very weird result. Very weird result. Really curious if you guys see the same thing. 8% health. Oh no. If that's the case, this Model 3 has some serious issues. I'm about to just take it on a 5,000 mile road trip next week. So let's hope we're not at 8% health. All right, well, let's pull up some of the results in here. So I have 100% state of charge. It's indicating 99 because the battery is a little bit cold. Okay, no big deal. But let's go over here to charges and charge summary. I want to at least show you how this has been used. So the percentage of DC charging is about 56% because CHAdeMO charging plus supercharging, and 43% AC. So we've done how many megawatt hours? So about 600 kilowatt hours of CHAdeMO charging, 23 megawatt hours of supercharging, and 18 megawatt hours added to the battery pack of AC charging, 19 delivered from the wall. So there's your losses right there. Okay, so interesting. You can see, actually, this is interesting. These are all the places the car's been plugged in. It's been all over the place. This is our road tripper, so we use it. So let's come over here to charges and to the battery report. So this is the Teslafy battery degradation report. Now, when I did the 100,000 mile degradation test, again, 20,000 miles ago, we were sitting somewhere around, I don't know, Ellie, are you okay? She is excited. Yeah, she loves degradation testing. Hell yeah. Yeah. Okay, so when I did my 100,000 mile test, we were about a 11% degradation. Thank you, Ellie. According to our most recent completed charge, which is the one we did yesterday, again, when I bought the car, it was stated with 310 miles of range. I got every bit of that when I took delivery. The car is now predicting 272 miles, and that's about a 13% degradation. So, you know, if we look at starting range versus current range, 12% degradation. So, you know, 1% in that 20,000 miles seems to make sense. You know, most of the degradation will happen at first and then level out. Let's go back to here and let's see. So this is fleet average is green and my car is blue. And you can see I did a pretty good job taking care of it, more than the average person, even considering the use. But you can see you get a big degradation dip and then it sort of levels off for everyone. And we're sort of leveling off here. And a lot of these big spikes have to do more so with BMS changes, with temperature, you know, the car just stating a little bit less or more range. So we seem to have taken the hit, at least the fleet has. My car seems to have been a little bit more linear, but they all seem to be leveling off somewhere around here. So the Tesla claims 8% health. I don't think that's accurate at all. Teslafy claims about 12% loss, and that feels pretty accurate to me, actually, considering all the use that it had. And you can see here, this was the charge we did, yesterday. completed charge 100%. Again, very rarely does this car ever see 100%. It's been, months and months and months since it's been fully charged. And there we are, 272.91 miles, again, at that BMS calibration. If we just go, let's see, I just want to take a look at that exact charging session that the car did, because it went here. So this is the car's day. It was driven, it was supercharged. Here's the supercharging session from 13 to 37%, then driven up here. I plugged it in at 4% state of charge. It drained itself to 2. Interestingly, it didn't drain itself all the way, but it burned 2 kilowatt hours, in its multi-hour pull down cycle for the test. And then it went from 2 to 100%, on my 48 amp charger. Let's take a look at this charging session, actually. I like that you can have all this data, and you can see it. Charger limit state of charge was 100%, battery range. Not sure what that means. But yeah, there we go. We used 69 kilowatt hours or so from the wall, and 64.3 went in. So we had a 93.2 efficiency of our charging session. Of course, there's always going to be losses. Got to run pumps, have transmission losses. But there we go. I'm going to go drive it now, get it off of top charge, and very, very weird results here. So guys, there you go. I don't know what to think here. I think the car's sitting at about 12% loss is what my gut feeling tells me. Still, I think the only way to do a true degradation test is not on the charging side, but on the discharging side. So on a warm-ish day, supercharge it to 100% and then drive it very gently until it doesn't move anymore and see how many kilowatt hours you pulled out of it. Just like we did at 100,000 miles. I have a whole video going through that process with Scan My Tesla, with all the data coming out of the car. I actually need to reinstall Scan My Tesla on this car for my trip, which I'm absolutely going to do because I love all the nerdy details. So I got to rearrange the driveway. I got to pull this car out. We're going to go drain it down to about 50% state of charge for storage for the next few days. And there you have it, a interesting video. I am curious to see if you guys do this battery health test in your Tesla. Let me know what the results come back at. My Model S is showing 100%, but it hasn't gone through the full test. I just can't believe that the battery would be at 8% health. It seems a little bit weird, doesn't it?